To unpack this conversation further, we're joined by Professor Francis Petersen, who's Chair of University South Africa. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's a Saturday and it's been quite the week to reflect on in terms of what's been going on inside the Walter Sisulu University. I'm keen to hear just your initial thoughts when we started reporting on what was happening at the university from Tuesday morning already. Those, very dramatic images of university students protesting outside of the university, also getting sight of this individual that they believe has shot one of their own and running towards him. But just the very idea of guns in universities and a student having lost their life. Your initial thoughts as of Tuesday?
Yes. So first of all, good afternoon and thank you for having me. I want to start off by, just on behalf of University South Africa, which I'm the chairperson of, extend our deepest condolences to the family of the deceased young man. This is obviously something that we would not like to see. Students, and which is that the youth, they have got their whole future in front of them, and to be taken away in such a manner is obviously something that we're all concerned about. So the University of Walter Sisulu University have issued a statement through their council in terms of how they're engaging with this particular situation, but also the issues around that. And for me, there are often two areas that is quite important. When there are particular issues, whether they are external of nature or whether they are internal of nature, and in this particular issue, this particular case, there were a lot of internal areas that the students are related as concerns, issues related to the residences, the support in the residences. So those are domestic issues that I believe that university management has taken serious and has reacted on. But the students were not happy with the responses, either the speed at which those solutions did come to the table. And what for me is very important is that there should be continuous communication channels between the students and the university, the student body, often represented through the Student Representative Council and the university management. And that channels need to be continuously open, engaging with one another so that we don't get to where protests, which is obviously acceptable. Peaceful protest is important. It's a way of students of articulating their frustrations or their grievances, but that those protests must never go over to violent protests, where either other students or staff or the university assets has been challenged or has been under threat. So in this particular case, I think the university management and council has taken things under control, and what they want to do with the student body through the SRC want to create stability at the university as soon as possible.
I mean, here's the challenge here, Prof. I mean, you've got on Tuesday one young student losing their life, and what our reporters were able to do was to also speak to the very hospital that saw the injured in that shooting also admitted. And what we heard from the hospital was that this is not the first incident of a shooting coming out of the Walter Sisulu University, that previously there was also another female student who had been shot multiple times and still had a bullet lodged in her spine. So the very images coming out of this university seems to be that this is not a one-off problem. So where do you see the problem there? The use of guns in our universities, is that not a hot point?
Yeah, no. So I can't comment on the earlier shooting because obviously the university will have to comment themselves. In this particular one, and I just wanted to correct the view that this particular incident, I used the young man that was shot. According to the public information and the university, is that at that specific point of the shooting, the student or this young man wasn't a student. He wasn't registered as a student. But the other two that were injured indeed were students. But nevertheless, obviously university campuses should be safe to all students and to all staff. It should be gun-free areas, because there is where the students want to move freely. They want to enjoy a good student life. And therefore, the council also has articulated in its statement that they issued earlier this week that the university management should ensure that the gun-free policy needs to be applied, which I am sure that university management did apply, but there should be more emphasis and more focus to ensure that that's indeed the case. And then I think it should also engage, which I know they do, with my conversation with the Vice Chancellor of Walter Sisulu, that they engage with the law enforcement agencies and law enforcement structures to be able to ensure that the level of shooting or violence should not happen. And there is a complete focus, I know, of the university management to make sure that they put more pressure on this. There is more clearly articulation of how the policy is being applied, and making sure that the infrastructure and the support of that is there to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, there's that and the issue of guns, and that needs to be represented. But I wonder what you make of the very challenges that the Walter Sisulu University faces, some of the issues that have been raised by students, for instance, on the state of their residence, saying it's too expensive. They wanted that money to come down from 40,000 to 38,000. They also said their rooms are dirty, the walls are dirty. They say that the door of the residences simply don't work, and so the students saying that they simply don't feel safe. This is what some of the students are told EWN. So what do we do with that issue about the fact that, well, the way that students are living in these residences also does need to be given attention, the conditions with which they live in?
Yeah. So again, I don't want to talk on behalf of the university, but what I could say is that for each residence on campus and off campus, there are minimum norms and standards which needs to adhere to be able to ensure that the students that live in those accommodations are living in a humane environment. If there are issues that the student raised, those issues, according to my information, are being addressed. It might not be addressed at the speed at which the students would like to have seen it. If they have raised it, then the management need to provide feedback in terms of the progress. So I just want to call, due to the fact that I don't know what the sort of feedback was by the university management, I want to call on both the management and on the students to keep engaging with one another. And if there are funding challenges, is to see how they collectively could deal with that. Because sometimes that funding challenges might be outside of the university. So I can just call on them. And the Vice Chancellor, I know, it's a good colleague of mine, and I know that she has a commitment is there. And I'm pretty sure that this incident will just raise the intensity at which the executive management and also the council will deal with these issues that the student raised of aspects in the residence that need to be addressed. But it has to. If it's there, if it's not fixed, the university manager will have to, and I'm pretty sure they are committed to do so.
What steps, if at all, is University South Africa going to be taking? I mean, this is an interesting discussion, but I wonder what engagements you've had with the university and so forth.
Yeah, so our engagement is an engagement of support. We can't prescribe to the university what to do. I have engaged with the Vice Chancellor, and we will be keeping engagement with them. We can't prescribe, we can't put any pressure. The university management report to an independent council, and the council will oversee the interventions that need to be conducted. But the role of the University South Africa is basically twofold. In a way, we support the university, and I am 100% certain that the university also want to ensure that this issue is being addressed as soon as possible. And then the second point is very important, and that's the statement that we also have issued on behalf of University of South Africa. We also have to learn from one another as 26 public universities to ensure that we not only support one another, but where there are particular issues of concern like this at other universities, how can we instead highlight that and see how we can address with that proactively.
All right. Well, we're going to leave it there. Prof, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. That was Professor Francis Petersen, Chair of University of South Africa, looking back on some of the concerning activities coming out of the Walter Sisulu University.